you been doing to prepare for an earthquake? Did you follow the building code when you were erecting that imposing structure on the hillside? When was the last time you inspected your home, church, or office? Well, get cracking! Earthquake Awareness Month continues. Coming up, you'll see what the government is doing to get Jamaica and Jamaicans earthquake ready. Also in the show,
today we table the youth policy.
We're already setting up and getting reports that the Blue and Jonkra Mountains is seeing an increase in local and international visitors.
The 2015 Year in Review for the Ministry of Youth and Culture. Hi there, I'm Audrey Williams. Thanks for joining us. I'll guide you through those features and more on this Friday edition of Jamaica Magazine.
All the people them with a Zika, hold up your hand. Zika in the Caribbean territory, but we now want that virus take set pan we. So make sure send no stagnant water inside and mash up all mosquito breed inside. More hole in the tin them where you dash way and change the water in your vase every day. No litter, dispose of your garbage proper. You know them the thing they with country and blacker. Tour your community and tour your yard for suppress mosquito. We have figure hard dash we old tire turn over drum pan for prevention is the greatest weapon. And special shout out to pregnant ladies. Protect yourselves and protect your babies. Draw for your zapper and your mosquito spray. If you do all that we can to keep them away. For we now was in vain.
Good day, I'm Carrie-Ann Smith and this is your GIS News for Friday, January 22. A tripartite partnership has been launched to enhance preparation against the possible impact of the Zika virus. The partnership is among the Ministry of Health, the Caribbean Cement Company and the Kingston and St. Andrew Corporation.
100 vector control workers will be employed by the cement company, trained by the Ministry of Health, supervised by the KSAC, and directed out in the various communities where Carib Cement operates.
The health minister has praised the Carib Cement for what he says is a good example of the public-private partnership needed to improve health care. He urged more corporate entities to engage in similar efforts.
And we invite every citizen, every family to take the time to check your homes, check your work site, check the environment in which you operate. Every club, every restaurant, everywhere people gather and there's water to ensure that the mosquito is not breeding.
As part of its preparation, the Ministry of Health will ensure adequate supply of pharmaceuticals such as paracetamols are available if and when the Zika virus hits home. Meanwhile, Jamaica's ability to respond to medical emergencies has been bolstered with a donation of ambulances. The government of Japan handed over 6 ambulances, valued at over $8 million Jamaican dollars, to St. John Ambulance on Wednesday. The units will serve the parishes of Kingston, St. Andrew and St. Mary.
This is a valuable gift, which will serve as a major life-enhancing initiative and will assist us greatly to care for life at home, at work, at play, and allow St. John to have a more impactful service in Jamaica.
The Senate has passed the Insurance Amendment Act 2015 as government seeks to strengthen the legislative framework governing Jamaica's insurance industry. It was passed in the Senate on Friday, January 15. Justice Minister Senator Mark Golding says it will enable aggrieved parties to air their grouses with the Financial Services Commission instead of having to proceed directly to a designated appeals tribunal established by the legislation. The amendments also harmonize procedures related to unclaimed balances with that of other financial sector legislation.
This relates to unclaimed monies that are on the books of insurance companies for long periods of time. And the Act is being amended to facilitate the recovery by individuals or companies of those unclaimed monies, to provide for a refund of them by the Accountant General's Department.
Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Minister Senator A.J. Nicholson is among the voices welcoming the historic WTO agreements reached late last year to improve global trade.
Of particular importance to Jamaica is a decision that, and I quote, developing country members will have the right to have recourse to a special safeguard mechanism in relation to agricultural products, and that negotiations on trade remedy should be pursued in dedicated sessions of the Committee on Agriculture in special session.
Minister Nicholson was making a statement in the Senate on the outcomes of Jamaica's participation in the World Trade Organization's 10th Ministerial Conference in Nairobi, Kenya.
The outcome of these negotiations, if successful, should allow developing countries like Jamaica the flexibility to temporarily raise tariffs beyond current levels to respond to sudden import surges and price depressions in agricultural trade.
And finally, Chief Justice Zayla McCalla has welcomed the sensitization of resident magistrates and clerks of court on laws governing the Prairie Larceny Act, saying that it will greatly enhance the delivery of justice in the courts. Ms. McCalla was speaking at a training session on Saturday. She stressed that it was important for court staff to be aware of all the issues relating to Prairie larceny and how the cases should be handled.
If the cases are not properly investigated and prosecuted, then it means that persons who have committed crimes may go free or get off on technicalities.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Carrie Ann Smith. Thanks for watching.
Our year in review for today will focus on the Ministry of Youth and Culture. In 2015, stakeholders were connected with Portfolio Minister Lisa Hanna and her team.
The Prime Minister, in her wisdom, asked for a number of town hall meetings, particularly in areas where we saw that the data relating to child abuse was at a spike. We're here to have an open, honest, and courageous conversation with you. We also instituted a best practices program for the standards of care at the Maxfield Park Children's Home. Prime Minister, my heart full, because this is a dream of all of us, including you. I have asked them to make the necessary recommendations so that our systems and procedures are improved to reinforce the appropriate culture necessary for child protection. That program of therapeutic intervention is so necessary that we're going to bolster it, and we're going to make sure that there's a space in every single parish for therapy for children in state care so that they can get the help. We've also reduced the number of children that went missing last year, Mr. Speaker, by 10%. The practice of keeping silent and not giving the evidence to convict the perpetrators who abuse them must stop.
Come on and smile. In Jamaica, y'all. Get it together, y'all. In Jamaica. Get it together now.
We are already setting up and getting reports that the Blue and Jonquera Mountains is seeing an increase in local and international visitors.
Sweet Jamaica is now on the move. Help me with my song and let the people them come sing along.
With the assistance of UNESCO, we have created a data bank of the intangible cultural heritage of many communities island-wide.
Take up your books, then people let us go. Call out the youth and brother, let us show. Sweet Jamaica, we really want to grow.
We'll also be producing a cultural passport for thousands of students at the secondary level. This year's National Festival on Emancipation Independence is expanded and it is enhanced to include the commemoration of the 150th anniversary of the Morant Bay Rebellion.
Sweet Jamaica is now on the...
I am pleased to announce that the government of Jamaica is partnering with the Japanese government to enhance the technological capacity of the Institute of Jamaica.
This is the land of my birth. I said this is the land of my birth.
We must work to protect our culture in all its forms, physically and artistically. This year, we're spending $344.6 million on youth programs, and we have even bolstered them even more, on top of the ones that we have there, to impact about 15,000 young people. I've tasked the NYS to work closer to the members of Parliament, to come to you personally and design training programs with you. This reintegration program, Mr. Speaker, will be a multi-sectoral approach, and it will address issues in this group. We're hoping to reduce crime, we're hoping to reduce delinquent behaviors in secondary school, and we're hoping to increase self-acceptance. Today we table the youth policy, and we expect this to galvanize the focus of the country on the importance of youth development to secure the nation's future. This should be the mandate of us all, to get our youth connected, to get our youth satisfied, to get our children protected. Let us keep connected.
No big deals in the party right now. It's okay, we can sing out, man. Very, very, very important. Sit down, important for. Alright then, this has nothing to do with money or fame or vanity. This one is all about self-worth. So big up your chest and stand proud, and don't matter about nobody, no man no more than no man on this earth. So whether you walk or you a drive car, no matter if you are it or black like tar, from your feel good in yourself, you're a star. Push up on no one and tell all the haters I'm a big. Now sing along, me and my friends, them are big. Now over here, so you know, say you're kinda important. So I'm important. So in the middle, over here, so I'm a big. Okay, me and my friends are some big deals. Well, okay, very, very, very important. So if you know you're very important right now, it goes like this.
Developmental planning must precede construction. Risk analysis must inform all our actions. Codes must be adhered to. Construction must be sound. And of course, where construction is done outside of the codes, statutes, and regulations, then enforcement must come into play.
That message about earthquake safety cannot be overstated. It's an unpredictable natural disaster, and so we have to do all we can to minimize the effects. Don't be scared. Be prepared. The government has been leading the charge when it comes to preparation. Let's see how.
It is sudden, it comes without warning, with the potential for devastation. Livelihoods disrupted, lives lost, and in seconds, an entire way of life could be changed.
And for those reasons and more, the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development, through its agencies and other stakeholders, is putting in place measures to build Jamaica's resilience to earthquakes, that unpredictable shaking or movement within the Earth's crust. Jamaica gets over 200 earthquakes annually. In 2015, the country's seismograph network recorded some 231 earthquakes.
Given the number of earthquakes, it is surprising that there was only one felt report for 2015, and this was for a magnitude 3.5 earthquake that occurred west of White House in Westmoreland.
Nonetheless, the country remains on alert, as the island is said to be overdue a major earthquake. Steps are therefore being taken to ensure that Jamaica is prepared for and can respond to and recover from the impact of an earthquake. Part and parcel of the plan is to improve the country's legislative and regulatory framework. In 2014, a hillside development manual was launched so that persons could better understand why they should reduce interference with natural slopes. Since then, the document has been incorporated into the Kingston and St. Andrew Development Order and the National Works Agency's drainage guidelines.
There's also been an increase in the number of requests for assistance from the general public, developers and other government entities for geographic and geotechnical advice regarding lands for development in hillside areas.
Parliament also passed the Disaster Risk Management Act, and the National Building Bill has been tabled in the House of Representatives. Persons are also reminded to adhere to building regulations so that sturdy structures are erected.
And of course, where construction is done outside of the codes, statutes, and regulations, then enforcement must come into play.
Improving Jamaica's resilience to an earthquake and other natural disasters also means boosting technological capacity so that stakeholders can coordinate their response. In that regard, partnerships have been forged with the private sector.
To strengthen our whole build-out of the emergency radio network that is operated by OPM, as well as having that integrated with the various other emergency responders.
One such emergency responder, the Jamaica Fire Brigade. Why? Well, for one, earthquakes are normally followed by pockets of fire. The Kingston earthquake of 1907 had a series of fires that led to about 1,000 reported deaths. And so, with the limited resources, firefighters are continuously trained to ensure they are ready to respond if and when there is an earthquake. Earthquakes can also bring tsunamis. 2 were recorded from past earthquakes in Jamaica, and with tsunamis, there will be flooding.
Fortunately, the Jamaica Fire Brigade has trained persons in swift water rescue, and we have received equipment from the U.S. Embassy that we will be able to conduct a rescue operation in that event.
Jamaican firefighters are also capable of carrying out search and rescue operations, and the brigade's emergency medical technicians can provide treatment if and when the need arises. Public and private stakeholders can help to assess their readiness for an earthquake and lessen future damage by signing on to the earthquake unit's strong motion network. Participants will have to buy accelerographs, install them in buildings to measure movement, and the earthquake unit will analyze the data.
So at magnitudes of say 4 and 5, we can have an indication of how the ground surrounding a building or the building itself or whatever structure, say a bridge, would respond to a much larger earthquake.
The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management OPM is also working to ensure that everyone is earthquake ready. The agency continues to expand its community emergency response teams while finalizing a volunteers program through a partnership with Argentina. The South American country is sharing its expertise and encouraging OPM to involve different categories of citizens in the program.
Without working with our people at the bottom side of this exercise, it will be impossible to reduce the damages or to reduce the bad side effects of any natural disasters.
So the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development and its stakeholders are working to develop Jamaica's capacity to withstand, respond, and recover from earthquakes. You too can play a part. Follow the building regulations. Check buildings for cracks, weaknesses, and defective electrical wiring. Securely anchor overhead objects such as chandeliers and fluorescent bulbs. Practice earthquake drills and develop an evacuation and emergency plan.
Did you know climate change is decreasing the quality and quantity of water?
Climate change is expected to affect all aspects of food security, especially in the tropical region of which we are a part.
Climate change-related hazards such as prolonged droughts, more severe storms, and the overall irregularity of rainfall. These climatic stressors have resulted a reduction of water in our rivers and watersheds.
Youth, we are depending on you to spread the message of climate change and its impacts. Be a climate change agent in your home, school, or community. With climate change, we must change.
Earlier we spoke about earthquakes, and some environmentalists may argue that earthquakes may be linked to climate change. Now, climate change is serious business. Extended changes in weather patterns can affect the economy, businesses, you and me, our livelihood, just about everything. Just consider the impact of a drought. Yes, it's real. It's therefore important for everyone to be climate smart. Talk about it and take steps to mitigate the effects of climate change.
See the signs, they all reveal that global climate change is real. It's not a matter of when or how. Climate change is happening now.
It's the second staging of the Youth Climate Change Conference, and we are getting in on the action.
As young people, you are capable of participating in and changing the society in which you are all valued members. As such, you have an important role to play in addressing and affecting the issues of our world, including the factors that contribute to climate change. Very important.
Have I been sleeping?
About 1,000 students from high schools across the island, all discussing the global issue of climate change at Jamaica's Youth Conference of Parties. School Zone was happy to engage in converse with our students to hear their views on the matter.
As it relates to climate change, there are many different factors that we must take into consideration, but probably first and foremost is actually information. As you know, that knowledge is power. So if we can inform this generation of what climate change is and the role it plays in our future, then I believe that that is the first step in reducing the heat that we're experiencing right now. On top of that, with the new generation upcoming, they're very involved in technology, and if they can use that technology to advance what the situation with climate change is right now, then we will be better off in 10 to 20 years' time, given that this generation is really advanced in technology.
Well, spread the news and recycle more, stop use less aerosol products for women especially, and also, just stop dumping plastic bottles and those stuff in the rivers.
So I'm here with my friends Petrina and Danielle
from the Irwin High School in Montego Bay, and they'll be sharing with me their views on climate change. Let me start with Petrina. Petrina, what do you think you can do to tackle the issue of climate change?
Educate. Education is always better.
And why do you think it's so important to get the young people on board?
They say the youth are the future of tomorrow. So starting from the youth is better than ever.
The conversation also included our youth with disabilities who had much to say on the matter.
It is important that government continue the conversation surround climate change with persons with disabilities, and that can be done by having more workshops to include them.
And through the language of signing, the deaf community shared their views.
There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. And this place is much brighter than tomorrow. And if you really try, you'll find there's no need.
Those are some of the impacts of climate change, which unfortunately have already started. Our students believe, however, that if we change our ways, we can slow down some of these effects. Their views are supported by government and other stakeholders.
One of the solutions I think we should really push is that the point where they said that public sectors and private sectors should be involved, that really shows that the whole country is, coming together, public and private, to really solve this issue, even though it can't really be solved, but to slow it down and to get things on the right track.
Individually, there's a whole lot of power that you have. And that power begins with understanding the need to do certain things to improve our common situation, whether it be shutting off the light, recycling, or buying products and working and supporting companies that support the environment.
I hope that things are put in place after we have done all this talking.
They certainly will, Javon, as the outcome of the views of all these youth will be incorporated into the current climate change framework document for schools in Jamaica. Suggestions included:
we should include a paragraph on the use of wind turbines where appropriate, because not all schools would be in a local where those particular technologies can be used. All future building plans are to include and incorporate energy efficiency in their core goals.
It was a fruitful convo for all the students, and in the end, outstanding schools and students were awarded. Overall champion was the Westwood High School from Trelawney. Kudos to you guys.
So to Jamaicans out there, students, parents, everyone, just help to make a change. Teamwork makes the dream work, so each of us have to do our part in order to make everything work out in the end.
All right, what do you plan to do?
I'll ensure anything electric is off before I leave any empty room.
That's a wrap for today's School Zone. Till next time, I'm Tamara.
That's how we close today's show. Thank you so much for staying with us. How have you been preparing for an earthquake? Share your thoughts on that and other issues via email, jamaicamagazine@gis.gov.jm. Feedback is also welcomed on our social media platforms. You may also browse our website and watch this and other shows on our YouTube channel. I'm Audrey Williams, and this has been Jamaica Magazine. Have a great evening.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.